Hey there, planners. Today I want to share with you my recent obsession with tiny icon stickers and how I've discovered a way that I can make them myself, because while I love these little guys, they are quite expensive in sticker shops and planner shops. So I'm going to walk you step by step through how you can make your own icon stickers. Go grab your planners and let's get planning. So if you are new to Planning Annie, welcome. We are so glad you're here. If you love planning supplies, productivity, getting things done, being creative while also being very efficient with our time, you have found the right place and the right tribe. We are a community of enthusiastic planners, and we welcome you and your ideas in the comments down below. I hope you will consider subscribing and coming back over and over again. For those of you who have been here for a while, welcome back, and I'm excited to share this information and my new obsession with you today. All right, so you cannot spend much time in the planner world without coming across tiny icon stickers. They are everywhere. Every planner shop sells them, planner supplies. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them in sticker books. They're everywhere. And I have recently fallen in love with these little icon stickers, particularly for my work planning. I am using them in a calendar where I just need a visual reference of something, or from a time blocking standpoint, I don't necessarily want to write out an item or things that repeat over and over again. For example, when I need to enter my time, I have repeat activities, traveling into the office versus working remotely, having a one-on-one with my leader or my team. So I've got stickers for things that I do repeatedly and just want a visual reference versus having to write that out. So I've become obsessed with these things, and I really couldn't find exactly what I wanted in sticker shops that already existed. I could find icons that I could make work, but they weren't exactly what I wanted. And also, these tiny icons can be quite expensive in sticker shops. And when I think about something I'm going to use once and it's gone, I don't want to spend a lot of money on them and pay for shipping over and over again. So, of course, I looked for a way to DIY. I did some testing and obviously cracked the code on how to make these little icons, and I want to share with you today some ideas for how to make them yourself as well as how to use them. So I'm going to flip over and show you my computer screen, walk you through step by step how to make them, but I hope you enjoy the process. Leave all your questions down in the comments below. All right, so for creating these tiny icons, we're going to be using Canva. Canva is a free tool that you can set up an account and start using right away. I have used Canva for a really long time for all kinds of editing items, both for personal, for this channel, for all kinds of things, even like birthday invitations for my children when they were younger, all kinds of things. So if you don't have a Canva account, I recommend that you go grab one and spend a little time getting familiar with the Canva software. It's super easy to use. So for this project, I am going to be creating a design. We're going to start from scratch so that we can pick our size. When I'm making these tiny icons, I like to make them about the size when they print out and are ready to use. They are about the size of a business card. That way I can put them in my planner pockets. So I selected create a custom size here, and then I'm going to enter the dimensions of the project that I want, what I want the actual sticker sheet to be. And I'm going to put in the dimensions of a business card. Now, one thing to note, and I'll catch this in just a minute as I get ready to enter this, you see the PX in the drop-down box beside the width and the height. That's telling me that these are the measurements in pixels. I actually want to make sure I am selecting the measurements in inches because I'm going to get an error warning here that tells me I can't have pixels that small. So make sure that you change your measurement to inches or centimeters or millimeters, whatever it is that you're most familiar with. Make sure you change that And then I'm going to enter the dimensions of the typical business card, which is 3.5 inches by 2 inches, because that's how big I want my finished product to be. Okay, now we have our project set up. It's the size we want, and we're going to do a couple of things to get ready to create our icons. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name this file, and I want to give it a name that tells me what icon I'm creating. So I'm going to go with chores. So we'll make a chores icon. Let's say we do our chores once a week and we want to make sure we have an icon to use. The next thing I'm going to do is change the background color. So just click into your document and then you'll see the little rainbow box. Click on that and you can actually select a color. I recommend that you go with a green color, and this is because ultimately we want to remove the background. So green is a very easy color to remove in many apps or different softwares. So change the background color to green, and now we're actually going to give our icons a title that are going to be on the finished product, so that we have a title on our little tiny sticker sheet. So I've gone over to text, I've added a little bit of body text, and I'm just repeating the title, Tiny Icons Chores here. You can get creative with how you do this. You can be as creative as you want to with how you give yourself a title. But the thing you want to remember is the background is going to be deleted. So the green is going to be deleted. I don't want these letters to be deleted, so I also want to give it a background as well. Right now, I'm kind of playing with the font. You can change the font. Pay attention when you're in Canva to anything that has a crown beside it. Requires a pro account or you would have to pay for it. Anything without a crown is free, so you can see there are a ton of options for free. So I'm just choosing one of the free ones. I like the way this looks, so I'm going to make it a little bold, make it a little bigger, put it at the top, and then I'm going to give it a background so that it stands out and doesn't get deleted. Now, I will talk about this later, but I'm actually going to be using a Cricut in the end to cut my icon stickers. You can hand cut these. I believe you could use a Silhouette as well. I'm not as familiar with Silhouette because I don't have it, but there's a ton of options. So you don't have to have a sticker cutting machine to be able to do this project, but you can also use a sticker cutting machine. So here I am giving a background to my title that will stay in place. So I'm going to put a box back there. Found that under Elements, just a plain box, and I'm turning that box white. So there's my title. All right, the next thing I want to do is give the background, set up the background and spacing for my actual icons. For this, I'm going to use a circle. Also in Elements, just a simple circle. I'm going to turn the circle white, because these are the parts that will not be deleted. These are the parts that also, if you are using a sticker cutting machine, this is where they're going to cut. They're going to cut where the white is. So I'm giving little background, and then I am actually going into the file and settings and turning on the ruler and guides. This really helps with the sizing for your icons. I have to be honest with you, I had to play with this several times. So I created a couple of different versions using different sizes. Ultimately, I landed on 0.3 inches being the right size diameter for my circles to put my icons in. I highly suggest that you maybe play around with this a little bit and print out a couple versions before you actually do the full project. Make sure that the icons are the size you want. You may want a little bit smaller. You may want a little bit bigger. So play around with that a little bit. I personally found that 0.3 inches is good for me. All right, so I've got 5 icon circles. I am going to be placing them, highlighting each one of them by holding down the Shift button and clicking on each one. And then I'm going up to the little 3 dots at the top of the page and using the position feature to distribute those dots evenly. So they're all spaced out evenly. This is going to help me when it comes to actually using my cutting machine. now that I have my first row of background set up, I'm going to repeat this same row over and over again. And this is where Canva does some really cool things to help us out. So I'm holding down the Shift key, clicking each circle to get them highlighted. And now I'm going to use the duplicate button to actually duplicate that row. I can click and drag all of them collectively to where I want them to be, and then hit the duplicate button again, and you can see Canva gets smart and recognizes where I want these things to go. So all I'm doing is hitting the duplicate button down the page until I have all of my icons ready to go. So now we get to the fun part. In Elements, I'm going to search for the actual icon I want to use for my chores icon. So you can type in all kinds of things. I typed in chores. Again, you want to pay attention to anything with a crown. That means it's either a paid option or a pro feature that you'll need to be signed up for Pro for. So I'm looking for something that's pretty plain. I like my icons to be minimal. So I'm looking for something that's not colorful. I would really prefer to have it like black and white, something pretty simple to use, and something that will fit nicely inside the circles that I have set up. I will have listed in the description box below a couple of other options for you to find free icons that you may want to check out as well. All right, so I think I've found my little chore icon. I really like this little person with the bucket and the mop. So I'm just going to shrink it down and zoom in. We're using the sliding scale at the bottom. I want to make sure that the icon is as large as it can be while still fitting completely inside the white circle, because again, I'm going to be using a sticker cutting machine, the Cricut, and I'm going to have the Cricut cutting around the white area. So the green area will be deleted and the Cricut will cut the white area. So I need my icon to fit inside of inside the white circle. So this takes a little playing around. Once you get it the way you want it, then we're going to use that duplicate button again and get the first two lined up, and then Canva gets a little smart and realizes what you want it to do when you're hitting duplicate, and it'll actually put them in the circles. You do need to check to make sure that Canva did it correctly. And then we're going to duplicate the whole row, hold down the Shift button, click each icon, and use the duplicate button to do the row. You have to move the first one into place, make sure everything is inside the white circle, and then use the collective duplicate button again, and this is where Canva gets really smart. Now you can see when it's duplicating, I do have to be careful because sometimes it's not putting it exactly where I want it in the circle, so you might have to adjust a little bit. This one looks okay. This one is a little too low. I see some of the black sticking out of the circle, so I have to adjust it a little bit. But it is really helpful. Canva does a pretty good job of guessing of what I'm trying to accomplish, so it's a nice feature. Now I have all of my circles and all of my icons all ready to go, lined up, and I'm just double checking that everything is inside the white area. All right, now that my project is done, it is time for me to export these babies and get ready to cut them out. Again, you can cut these by hand or you can put these in a sticker cutting machine. So I'm going to share and download. I want to make sure that I am downloading this in a PNG format. Now, if you have a pro account, you can download these with a transparent background. If not, that's okay. Just make sure that you have PNG and hit download. You are going to need to erase the background, which is the green area. And there are a couple of options to do that. You can do that within the Cricut software. You can also go to websites like Remove BG, which is a free background remover that you can upload an image and remove the background there. I have an app on my iPad called Magic Eraser that you can do that with. So there are lots of options for removing the background. If you're going to hand cut these stickers, it's really not necessary to remove the background. You can just print it out and cut it by hand. All right, so that's how you make tiny icons for yourself. I'm sure you are already thinking about some awesome ways that you could do this and ways that you could use tiny icons to save yourself some time and prevent writing. I hope this was a helpful tutorial for you. Leave all your questions down in the comments below. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.